is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee. From preps to pros and everything in between, it's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome in, folks, to Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. JP Plant down there on the bottom, and Mo Patton. I'm Chris Yao. Glad to have you guys with us here as we are already at Hump Day, Mo. Just trying to get over Sally's one hump. If we get to the other side, we'll be in good shape. I'm excited about this week and looking forward to more high school sports and talking all the things around college football, the NFL, college hoops. Lots going on in and around the sports world, most. So looking forward to it, like I said. But how are you doing today? What's been going on?
Doing all right, man. Just recovering from a late night last night or an early morning this morning. You know, it was great to be able to get live coverage from 4 different high school basketball doubleheaders last night, but somebody's got to read all that.
That's the tough part. Matter of fact, my stories didn't post to social media because I had originally had them set to go live at 11:30, and then I set it to go live at like 12 midnight because I wasn't sure when you were going to get a chance to read it, but I didn't change the notifier, which meant it didn't go out because the stories weren't up yet.
Oops.
Yeah. So
my bad.
I had to get that, had to make sure that was taken care of this morning. But if you check mainstreetmurray.com and mainstreetpreps.com, there's plenty of coverage from local high school sports last night. We'll talk about that later in the show. We've got some college football to talk about because the playoff committee did meet, as we mentioned briefly yesterday, and just got some questions about that. Some things just don't really add up. So I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on that as well. Obviously, the Tennessee Titans are off this week, but we want to talk about them as much as we can. And, you know, they have a lot to prepare for, but also they get some rest. So looking forward to that. A lot of college basketball last night, Mo. A lot of it, especially in the SEC. So we'll get to all of that in this show. And of course, it's Wild and Wacky Wednesday. We can't forget that. Wild and Wacky Wednesday, the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. So, yeah. I'll tell you, I actually got a text last night from Sarah on my way home. She says, I smell something burning. She was like, I just got out of the shower. I blow dried my hair. Maybe it's my hair. Maybe it's my towel, but I just smell something burning. And I'm like, I don't know. Check it out.
I can't help you. I'm not there.
She looks around the entire house, comes to the sunroom, can't find anything that may be giving her that smell until it hits her that it's not burning. It's a skunk. So the skunk smell in here right now is stronger than I would like it to be.
Oh, if it's strong at all, it's stronger than you would like it to be.
This is the time where the 30% smell from COVID is a positive. So there's that. My landlord has been patching up holes in the lattice under the deck because we have a groundhog that likes to get up under there. So we think that what happened was the groundhog was under there, the skunk goes under there, groundhog scares the skunk, and here we are. So it appears that's, or at least that's the most likely scenario that I have come up with. But yeah, it's not great in here, but we'll take it. We'll deal with it. And you know, the landscapers are out. I actually have grass now instead of just leaves, so that's nice. And it's Been a heck of a day. But I digress. We move on. Let's talk sports. Before we do that, though, Mo, we got to tell them about what happened last night. And I'd give you a schedule for tonight, but there isn't one. So we'll just give you last night's results on today's rundown.
This is the rundown.
Oh, it's to me. Okay. So
Not your fault. We asked JP to run the Monday rundown sponsor today, but it's okay. We'll get to it later.
All right. In girls high school basketball on Tuesday night, Zion Christian with a 36-17 win over Ekathos Classical. It was Page defeating host Lawrence County 55-46. Top-ranked Page in Class 3A, by the way. Also in District 8 AAA, it was Tullahoma defeating host Spring Hill 53-40. Collinwood with a 53-28 win over Richland, and 7th-ranked Wayne County with a 71-34 win over Culleoka.
In overtime last night, a little bit of a shocker here, Mo, as Santa Fe gets a 51-48 win over Hampshire. Mount Pleasant downs Lewis County 51-31. Number 1 ranked Loretto 67. Number 4 Summertown 49. Columbia Central in a romp 59-8 over Overton. I keep saying over Overton. I tried to fix that last night 3 or 4 times. Couldn't figure it out. Brentwood down to Summit 63-49, and Columbia Academy a 59-54 winner comeback win over Battleground Academy.
That Santa Fe win, by the way, was over number 10 Hampshire in overtime. In boys action last night, it was Zion Christian defeating Ekathos Classical 63-45. Page with a 60-47 win over 9th-ranked Lawrence County. Tullahoma defeats host Spring Hill 65-46. It was Richland 66, Collinwood 36, and Culleoka edged Wayne County 49-48.
Santa Fe in the boys action got the win as well over Hampshire 80-38. It was Lewis County 59, Mount Pleasant 44, Summertown 50, Loretto 48. We'll talk more about that with JP later. Columbia Central held on over against Overton last night 59-55. Brentwood down Summit 62-34, and Columbia Academy a big win over Battleground Academy 86-46.
In the NHL, the Predators continue to roll, returning home and picking up a 5-4 overtime victory over the Avalanche. In the NBA, the Grizzlies continue to roll with a 116-108 win over the Warriors. NCAA men's basketball action, Tennessee defeats South Carolina 66-46. It was Kentucky 78, Vanderbilt 66. Number 4, Auburn 81. Number 24, Alabama 77. And Jacksonville State, stay cocky, y'all, bounces back for an 88-83 win over Lipscomb. The Gamecocks had trailed in that one by 20. Very happy Chris Yao over that.
Yes. And that's going to do it for today's rundown. Yeah, JSU. Lipscomb went on a 22-2 run, and prompting me to almost quote tweet and just say LOL, because I think it was like 48-34 at the half. JSU had cut it to like 7, and then Lipscomb went on another run. And then next thing you know, Lipscomb's up 20 in the second half before JSU just rallies back. So Ray Harper and the boys. I know. It makes you angry. It's the only reason I say it.
He does. Yeah, that makes all sorts of sense.
Oh, man. Just after we got off the air yesterday, Mo.
Isn't it funny how that works?
Yeah. Number 7, the 7th NFL coach to make their way to the unemployment line.
And the most deserving probably of the bunch.
Right. Joe Judge, fired by the New York Giants. But here's the part that ties this into us is it opens up about 6 positions. Jeremy Pruitt, Derek Tooley, there's a couple others that we have seen in the Southeastern Conference over the years are now also once again unemployed. I mean,
there's a response there. I don't know what it is, but there's an article up on The Athletic. The headline is Giants owner John Mara most embarrassed he's felt since being associated with the franchise. Now,
yeah, because
I don't know how long he's been associated with the franchise, but this is their third 2-year coach in a row. Pat Shermer and Ben McAdoo only lasted 2 years prior to Judge. And, the thing is, I don't think anybody expected Judge to work out from the moment he was hired.
Well, I said they would have at least been entertaining if they had Mike Judge, who is the creator
of King of the Hill.
King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead. All that guy.
Couldn't have been any worse.
And then my buddy Coach Ron Selesky said, I would have taken Judge Judy. So,
Aaron Judge? I mean,
literally any judge other than Joe. Even Judge Steve Harvey at this point. All the dings.
Yeah. It's
because we don't have gavels. Anyway, it just again.
I just don't understand what took them so long.
I don't know if the public humiliation is what ultimately led to the firing. I
mean, maybe. I think it was Sally Jenkins of the Washington Post that wrote a scathing column about him. Ryan Clark with ESPN had a scathing soliloquy on video. I mean, it's just, I think it was he just seemed so self-involved throughout this process. And the worse things got, it was like the worse he got.
Yeah, it kind of snowballed on him, right? Like he never found any footing. You have Saquon Barkley in the backfield, and you can't make that guy work. Come on. I mean, I understand there are a lot of things that go into it, right? We get that, but it just doesn't make any sense to me how you can have a running back in the National Football League as good as Saquon Barkley and you just don't use him. But we've seen it here in Nashville. I mean, the facts are that Derrick Henry was underutilized before Mike Vrabel came here.
Yeah, I mean, the personnel issues, the personnel decisions, the back-to-back quarterback sneaks inside their own 10 this past weekend. I mean, just different stuff like that just brought on all of the criticism. And again, just the lack of self-awareness on top of it is just bizarre to watch. Mara made the comment in announcing the dismissal. I said before the season started that I wanted to feel good about the direction we were headed when we played our last game of the season. Unfortunately, I cannot make that statement, which is why we have made this decision. And again, my question is, I don't know what happened from Monday to Tuesday.
What took you so long?
Yeah.
I mean, did he want did he want this, did he want this particular news cycle to himself? Typically, that's not what you want. I mean, you want to just get it off with everybody else so that you're in a group.
And the thing about it is, I think when you don't do it that way, there's another day that everybody's like, all these guys got fired and this one didn't. What's up?
What are you doing? So, maybe he was just waiting on somebody to get fired that he wanted to hire. I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, Mo.
Yeah.
Let's talk some high school hoops on the other side. We'll bring in JP to talk Summertown Loretto, and we'll talk about some of the other games that happened around the area. So stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in on this Wednesday edition, Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. It's been a tough week for some Middle Tennessee high school basketball teams, but none tougher, Mo, than up in Gallatin, as head girls basketball coach Jerry Landers passed away, and that's it's never easy when a coach of his stature passes away, but especially when he's, still coaching.
Yeah, am not real familiar with Coach Landers, but clearly in the 4 years that he was at Gallatin, he made quite an impact up there, and obviously his sudden passing was pretty stunning for a lot of folks, and you just hate to hear about something like that. And like you said, particularly still on the sideline, it's especially jarring, I would think. So
there is a fantastic story by our friend and colleague Zach Womble on MainStreetPreps.com. But Gallatin, I guess they played last night against, was it Lebanon?
I believe so.
I believe they played Lebanon last night, and in their first game back since Coach Landers passing on Sunday. So, yeah, and I guess kind of building off of that, that's one of the big reasons that I went to Central Overton last night was because, a tragedy had turned into a positive in that Amari Franklin, who suffered a trachea injury earlier this season during a practice, he was actually in the gym last night. He was in attendance for their last game as well, but had not been back to the home Lions Den since the injury, and made his return last night to the home court, and folks were really really receptive of him, very excited to see him in the gym. I liked how they put the scoreboard had all 3s on it because that's his jersey number, and all the team wore shirts that said hashtag Amari Strong with the number 3 on it. It's just really cool to see, obviously so many people in the Columbia community who rallied around that young man, and he seems to be in good spirits. And did he recently commit or receive an offer from?
I've not confirmed
out in East Tennessee, right?
No, it's Welch College, which I think is in Nashville. I think it's formerly Free Will Baptist College. I've not confirmed it. I've been told that on a couple of occasions, but obviously I've not had an opportunity to speak with Omari or with his mother on that. So I'm not real sure, but that statement has been made that he is committed to play collegiately at Welch. So
sure. Well, again, he was in the gym last night. Columbia Academy gets a 59-55 win. Jordan Brooks did not play, was not on the floor for Columbia Central, but
wait a minute, who?
Not Jordan Brooks. Jordan Davis.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah, he did not play. I don't know who was Jordan Brooks. Anyway, Jordan Davis did not play, but Columbia was able to get the 59-55 win, kind of holding off. We had a technical foul at the end of the third quarter against an Overton player, and that helped Central get to an 8-point lead going into the fourth quarter, and they needed it because, again, just 4 points separated the two at the end of the game. So really good basketball game, much better than the girls, which ended 59-8, and it was at one time 58-2. So there's that. But yeah, good job by Q Martin and others last night for Columbia Central.
Yeah, this team, they begin District 12 4A, District 12 AAAA, however you're going to refer to it, play Friday night when they go up to Ravenwood, and that should be a good one. I'm telling you, I think these 5 teams in this district, Ravenwood, Nolensville, Columbia, Independence, and Summit, are pretty evenly matched, which means every night out is going to be worth watching, and I'm really kind of looking forward to this. So,
no question. Speaking of technical fouls, Mo, I gotta ask.
Nice segue there.
Eight varsity quarters played last night, and 7 technical fouls assessed. How does that even happen?
7 technical fouls, 6 called by the same guy.
That sounds about right. That's almost that's
the same guy called the first 5.
Okay.
Yeah. And
that's
honestly,
when you put him on the other side of the court.
I'm honestly not sure. Well, he was called them on players. He was called them on coaches. I mean, he wasn't. I mean, I think the scorers table was really concerned that they were going to get one. I mean, it was
I'm surprised you didn't get one, Mo.
No, man. All I did was laugh. I mean, if he was going to hit me, then he was going to really make himself look stupider. Excuse me. Yeah, it was bizarre, man. And what's funny is there was a guy sitting up behind me who was a Tullahoma fan, and he teed a Spring Hill kid, and this guy said, "You're awful."
That's incredible.
Yeah, you're awful. And I mean, it was a tee on his opponent, but I mean, it was.
I mean, at that point, you gotta maybe you take a look in the mirror.
Yeah. I don't know.
Look,
It's kind of like you tweeted lobbying for earplugs. I mean, I don't know what was being said. I don't know how it could be said so quietly that nobody heard it except the officials, because neither coach knew what was said when his players were teed.
Well, the one we had in the boys' game last night, Hobson just kept asking, "What did he say? What did he say?" And that's fine. Like, I mean, if you heard something and or whatever, but I don't think it's. I find it hard to believe that you could find something to give 6 technical fouls for in one night.
I just don't know. And one of the technicals, supposedly, because again, most of us didn't hear it, but a Tullahoma kid got teed for saying "ball don't lie."
Well, it doesn't.
It really doesn't.
I actually said that once last night. As a matter of fact, I was sitting on press row, behind the scores table, and something happened, and I was like, "Oh, that's a tough call." Next thing you know, Overton's got the ball. It's like, ball don't lie. I mean, yeah. It's true. So it's interesting that I'm curious. The one technical he didn't call. What happened there?
It was something said out in the middle of the floor, I guess. I think there was like a loose ball or a rebound or something, and they were going back up the floor, and all of a sudden, tweet, boom,
Man, that's tough. Tullahoma with a sweep last night, but still.
Yeah, interesting. Very interesting officiating.
I'm here for earplugs.
And, again, we aren't official bashers. We both kind of dabble in it a little bit. You more than me.
You just have to call out, inconsistency and just stuff that doesn't help the game. Right? I mean, calling 7 technical fouls is that's a watch me attitude. From that.
And nobody paid to see you.
Nobody.
Guaranteed. So very few paid to see anybody last night, to be honest. It was pretty sparsely attended. A little disappointing for a district game, but yeah.
Well, that's what happens when districts get all screwy like that.
Yeah, but, that's true.
Other games from last night, Columbia Academy swept BGA, but the girls had to do it in comeback fashion.
Yeah, we've got coverage up on the website mainstreetmurray.com from Landon Sechrist on those games. Amaria Gillespie scored 15 of her 25 in the first half and was really rolling. And apparently CA kind of had to refocus defensively and get her slowed down a little bit and got Maddie Lewis going. She finished with a game high 28. So big win for CA. I believe that gives them a sweep over BGA because I think they beat them in Franklin on a buzzer beater by Maddie.
They did. And then finally, the one we were all waiting for, Loretto Summertown. And the girls' game was anticlimactic, JP.
Yeah, a little bit. Obviously, Carly Weathers took over 33 points. probably another Miss Basketball finalist in AA. She won it last year, of course, in Class A, but it was a very subtle growth in the score, and Summertown cut it, I believe, to 11 in the second half, but just couldn't muster enough, and it was a fairly comfortable win for Loretto, top team obviously in the state, still undefeated. And she was the only player in double figures for the Lady Mustangs. But they've got so many other good players that's not always the case, and that's what makes them so dangerous. Now, Summertown was missing one of their regulars last night, and could have made some impact, but Loretto was clearly the better team, and this is the best, I believe, that this Loretto Lady Mustangs team has looked in this current run, which really includes the last 4 years because it kind of began with Carly Weathers when she came up as a freshman. So they very poised. It's going to be difficult to knock off this team as they go through the year, and it would not shock me if they could run the table, but it's early. New district, obviously, for both of these, and I don't see any other competition, serious competition, at least district-wise, beyond these two, as they should be the torchbearers, certainly for their district now.
Yeah, I was a little shocked. JP, I know that Emily Brazier did not play when Summertown played in the tournament over at Richland over Christmas, but Jeremy Jean had indicated that he expected her back. Not sure she played last week when they played over at Creekwood and lost or not, but again, certainly did not play last night, as you mentioned, and I'm not sure that she makes up 18 points, but I think she does make Summertown a little bit different. So interesting to see when she gets back and what her situation is. But again, this Loretto team, they're rolling. Got 11 out of Allie Weathers last
There you
night.
go. Yes, that's correct.
So,
yes. Yeah, just got another one. And again, it was a calm takeover by Carly. At least that was just my take on it. She's so poised and in control of her game anyway. So when you watch her out there, she kind of glides and is always in control. Her facial expression never changes. And so when she takes over a game, it feels like it's kind of a quiet takeover. And that's kind of what happened. She scored the first 11 points for her team in the third quarter, got the lead out to 22. Summertown did make a run late in the third quarter to kind of get it again to 11, but could not get over that hump. And they just kind of cruised in control, and it was kind of like a ho-hum. All right, another W. Let's move
quiet
on.
33 points,
yeah.
huh?
And kind of Bill Belichick-ish on to the next. I mean, that's kind of the vibe I got from this Loretto Lady Mustangs team.
First time I saw them, I said they're walking through. This is it. They're walking through. Until they get to Murfreesboro, I'm not sure they'll be touched.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know what else is out there.
I don't either, but it's going to take Murfreesboro to get to show it to me. I'm telling you. So when we come back, we'll talk college football playoffs and other college football scenarios. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
This is Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Sports talk like it used to be. You know, like your crazy uncle used to listen to. Only better. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in. So, Tennessee Sports Today, I'm with Tennessee Bone & Joint as we continue here on this Wednesday edition, and continuing is all we know to do to get over that hump. It is Hump Day Wednesday, Wild and Wacky Wednesday. We give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. That's coming up later in hour number 2. We've got a lot more to talk about as well. Titans, we got college hoops. But first, college football. We mentioned this earlier this week, Mo, and the College Football Playoff Committee met and apparently cannot come to any sort of agreement. They are very far apart, apparently, in what they think they should do. Greg Sankey says, look, the SEC's giving y'all a gift by saying we want more teams. This is a big give for us, he said, because now there's going to be more teams in there that can knock us off, knowing good and darn well that the semifinals very well could have 3 SEC teams in it in any given year.
3?
At least. I mean, I guess the big thing is right now that we know that the Big Ten is insisting on conference champions getting an auto bid. And I think that is kind of that's a big deal for the Big Ten, but I don't understand why. If we're talking about 8 or 12 teams, the Big Ten's champion, or at least a Big Ten team, is going to be in it every year. Right?
You would think.
So why does it matter?
I don't know.
Why do auto bids matter to him? Does he want the auto bid for the Pac-12 so that they can play the Rose Bowl? Like I'm genuinely curious. I don't understand what the Big Ten's play here is. The Big Ten is going to get in 99.9% of the time with an 8 or 12 team playoff. They're going to have one, probably 2 teams in.
Yeah, I mean, you would think that they're going to get 2 in, particularly in a 12 team. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're holdup is, what their issue is. I'm looking at an article here that's headline: Kevin Warren is CFP expansion's biggest obstacle, but why? And
exactly, but why?
yeah, quickly kind of scrolling through it and trying to see. Here's a subhead: what is the Big Ten's motivation? Apparently, the issue causing Big Ten Commissioner Kevin Warren to dig his heels into the ground is distribution of automatic berths in an expanded field. It's going back to what you said. Rather than taking the top 6 conference champs, Warren wants a model where all Power 5 league champions are guaranteed a spot, with the best group of 5 champ getting the 6th.
Once again, but I'm fine with that. I really don't understand what everybody else's concern with that is.
And if Warren was the commissioner of the Pac-12 or ACC, I could understand that perspective, but there is almost no chance that a Big Ten champion would not find itself among the top 6 conference champs.
Are they saying that? Because in a 12 team, you still only have 4 buys.
I don't really understand this at all.
It's so confusing because the Big Ten is going to get in. Why are you so worried about it? Why are you I mean,
based on the June 12th, based on the June proposal, the Big Ten would have tied the SEC with 3 teams in the CFP if the 12-team format was in place this season. Michigan would have earned a bye with the number 2 seed. Ohio State, ranked 7th, would have hosted number 10 Michigan State. Or perhaps looking to avoid a rematch, the committee would swap the Spartans with number 11 Utah and send them to number 6 Notre Dame instead. Point is, in the scenario, 2 Big Ten teams would be guaranteed spots in the quarterfinals. And I don't know.
Once again,
yeah,
it doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't make any sense.
So
unless the Big Ten is just being obstinate for the sake of obstinance, which
I genuinely think this is an alliance play. Because if Texas A&M doesn't leak that Texas and Oklahoma are coming to the SEC, this deal is done in June. Done. But everything got thrown out. I mean, they've basically thrown the baby out with the water at this point. Because I don't know where they go from here. But once again, I don't understand the Big Ten's insistence, but I also don't understand the other conferences' resistance. Because they're going to get in anyway. So why are we worried about? Why are we fighting over this?
Right. It's like, ask the Big Ten what they want and then do that.
Because it's not going to matter.
Right.
So I'm reading here. I think it's Scott Docterman from The Athletic, who, essentially Bob Bowlesby was saying they're not even close. The working group of Bowlesby, Greg Sankey, Jack Swarbrick, who's the Notre Dame athletics director, and Mountain West Commissioner Craig Thompson, they are the ones who wanted to expand to 12. They add an on-round campus first-round matchups, and then augment historic bowl games in the quarterfinals. And, it just makes sense, right? And then in July, everything is good to go until
Texas and Oklahoma are coming to the SEC. Yeah.
And so now everybody's like, I guess the Big Ten's going, well, why is the SEC so insistent on this 12-team thing? What if they got up their sleeve? That's exactly, basically this is a trust factor, right?
Or lack thereof.
This is, Well, if the SEC wants it,
it must
it's
be
definitely
bad.
good for the SEC, which is bad for everybody else.
You're dang right.
Well,
Well,
it's not
that's
necessarily
that second
true.
thing. I mean, if the SEC wants it, it's going to be good for the SEC. And I guess in this SEC versus everybody culture, SEC good, everybody else bad. You know, that's kind of the way folks are looking at it. Like you said, if it's going to be good for that conference, then no one else can benefit from it, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense, really.
The solution, Doctorman says, is so easy, it's baffling, it hasn't received stronger consideration. Allow every Power 5 champion tournament access, provided they hit a target ranking of the top 20. So if you go back to 2012, Wisconsin, who won the Big Ten, wasn't ranked. So that's where you kind of get into some weirdness. But 2012 is a whole different world of college football. I mean, so if maybe Pitt had beaten Clemson in 2018 or something, you know, there's no reason for 7-5 Pitt to get in. But understandably, you know, if you do add that extra level and layer of, you know, they have to be ranked in the top 20 or whatever, then I think that makes it easy.
Yeah, and then if they're not, then what do? You just take another at-large team?
Sure.
Okay.
Just another at-large and be done with it. It just that seems simple to me. I don't understand. Again, I don't understand the insistence or the resistance. It just makes sense. It's fine. Whatever. Let's go with it. So that's, and I think 12 is where it's at. I don't think 8 is even an option at this point.
I don't think so either.
I think it's 4 or 12. And to be honest, I don't hate that. I would rather it be 12, as you've mentioned so many times. I mean, it incentivizes being in the top 4.
Right.
So which still lends credibility to the regular season, and it matters. So many people keep talking about we don't need to expand it because just look at the FCS, right? North Dakota State, they've won 7 national championships in the last 8 years or 9 years or whatever, or 9 out of the last 11, whatever. Go back and look over the last 25 years. There have been, I think, 8 different national champions. 7 of them are now in the FBS. The only one that's not
North Dakota State.
is North Dakota State. So all of their competition has moved to the FBS, their biggest competition, right? James Madison's moving up. But you also can't discount the fact that who did North Dakota State play this year in the championship? Montana State. Montana State was the number 8 seed. That matters. Expansion is good. Maybe Alabama does win it every year, but they don't play Ohio State, Clemson, and Georgia every year for the championship.
Well, and by expanding it, you're not going to guarantee that somebody else is going to get there, but you're making it more accessible. And I think that's the key.
That's all that matters. More meaningful bowl games kills a lot of birds.
Fewer opt-outs.
Kirk and Dez are happy now.
Well,
happier. Yeah, they're still going to be ornery and cranky, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But just, you know, that's the kind of stuff that it just makes too much sense. And that's
there you
why
go.
It happened.
That bottom line.
And
you're applying logic to an illogical situation.
And that brings me to that second point, as you see on your screen. Is college football too regional to succeed nationally anymore? I mean, your big schools, your Texas, your USC, your Notre Dames, they're gonna get it. But I think 14 of the last 16 of the last 17 national champions have come from the South. The only one that hasn't was 2014 Ohio State. Is that a problem?
If it is, what do you do about it?
Expand the playoffs, right? I mean, it makes the playoffs more accessible to national brands. Brands across the nation, not national brands.
Mm-hmm.
Different, Washington, Oregon, Pitt, whatever. Now they have a chance.
Now, what they do with that chance is on them.
Sure. I don't understand why anyone would be not open to the idea of putting more teams in the playoff that could potentially, again, open college football back up to a national audience.
Sure.
I want to see the Colorado or Wyoming, even if if Wyoming was to go 12-0 one year in the Mountain West, I want to see them. It's cool. It's good. If college football is too regional to succeed, the only way to fix it is to open it up. So that's my story, and I'm sticking to it, Mo.
There you go.
Let's talk Titans on the other side of the break because, well, they ain't got nothing to do this week. So we'll talk about what they are going to do when we come back on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
The sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Mo, this week of Hard Knocks is going to be must-see television. Luckily for me, I have HBO Max. And I can't wait because I'm definitely watching this. Matter of fact, I'm watching a clip, I guess a preview of some sort, and Jim Irsay walks into the locker room, and Reich is talking to the team, except he's looking right at Irsay the whole time. I mean, it's like he's begging for his life. It's insane. Oh, man. Hard Knocks featuring the Colts. Did you see the Jags tweet after the game?
I did not.
They tweeted a picture of Trevor Lawrence and said it's a hard knock life with the final score.
Wow.
Oh, I thought heroes. And Jacksonville's coach after the game, that he didn't know that they knocked them out of the playoffs. He said after, I guess he gets to the locker room after Pittsburgh won or something, and he gets to the media podium and they're like, yeah, you officially knocked them out of the playoffs. He goes, good, that's what we were trying to do. So Jacksonville out here talking all the trash and can back it up. That's the thing, is you can't say nothing to them.
Not now.
So they got the number 1 pick and they beat you.
That's what they call a win-win.
Oh, yeah. It was pretty interesting. So the Tennessee Titans earned the AFC's number 1 overall seed, which gives them a bye in the first round of the playoffs. And that's good news, because as we mentioned yesterday on the show with Teresa Walker, the Titans are 8-0 when coming off of long rest under Mike Vrabel. And they get Derrick Henry back. Derrick Henry will play in the divisional round of the playoffs, and I'm just sorry for whatever team has to try to tackle him on fresh legs while they've played an 18-game season. So
17, but who's counting?
18-week season, sorry. Well, they will have played 18 games.
Well, that is true. You're right.
They will have played 18 games. So Titans need this rest. They're going to be all but fully healthy. I mean, you may have a couple of scratches here and there. Tyler Tart hasn't played in a while and that sort of thing. Jayon Brown was a healthy scratch last week because the inside linebacker room is just so dadgum full. And I keep listening to national pundits, and a lot of them have finally started coming around. A lot of them have.
Well, once you get down to what? 10 teams?
I mean, it's
14
seven,
teams or whatever.
it's 7
it is.
teams in the AFC.
Yeah. So I mean, at that point, I mean, you're really kind of sacrificing your credibility at this point if you don't acknowledge this team. And it almost becomes a why. Why won't you? What is it that's preventing you from acknowledging the number 1 seed who has the most wins of any team in the NFL this season over teams with winning records?
And yet, FanDuel puts out their power rankings today. The Tennessee Titans, of the 14 teams in the playoffs, do you know where they rank, Mo?
Well, I'd like to think they're not 14th, but I don't think they're in the top half.
You would be right. They lead the second half. They're number 8 behind the Dallas Cowboys. Also,
how many AFC teams ahead of them?
Well, at least, let's see. I sent JP the list, but I also don't. Let's see. It's right here in front of me. The Chiefs, the Bills, and the Bengals.
2 of whom have lost to the Titans.
2 of those have lost to the Titans. Titans ahead of the Cardinals, who beat
the Titans.
The Titans. Also, the Patriots at number 10, who beat the Titans. So
make it make sense. I mean,
I got
clearly
nothing.
head-to-head does not carry any weight with these guys.
Basically, someone said, if you let's just put it, let's go through it this way. If we're ranking the teams, here's how they're ranked: Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady, Josh Allen, Matt Stafford, Joe Burrow, Dak Prescott, Ryan Tannehill, Kyler Murray, Mac Jones, Jimmy Garoppolo, Derek Carr, Ben Roethlisberger, Jalen Hurts. And in that order,
it makes a lot more sense that way.
There's
or it makes some more sense.
That's the order.
It makes more sense that way.
It absolutely.
Why didn't you just call it that?
Thank you. You ain't got to lie, Craig. You can just tell us.
That's it.
So anyway, the Titans, they have done nothing but overcome criticism from national talking heads, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Byard kind of alluded to that today, and Teresa Walker had a video that she posted on Twitter, and we'll see if we can get it to play for you here. Let's hear what Kevin had to say.
Yeah, obviously, it's a good position to be in with having a week off, getting a couple of days off. But I think the mentality and our mental has to stay the same, regardless if we're the 1 seed with a week off or not. Teams are going to be gunning for us, so I think we have to make sure that we're, really locked in and focused to make sure that we're not getting caught up in all the I wouldn't say media, but all the hype that's going to be around us being the 1 seed and all the talk. People are going to be saying this, worst 1 seed here, there. None of that stuff really matters. I think he said something like it's interesting, but it really doesn't matter. You know what I'm saying? It's all going to matter how we go out there and execute the game plan when we go out there and play. Yeah, obviously, it's a good position.
And that's kind of what Tannehill said in his press conference was, look, you have to play your best ball now. It's one and done. So you have to play the best football you can play. And right now the Titans are playing pretty good football. I mean, the second half last week was not great, but the first half was as good as they've played all year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they're not perfect. They've got some things to address, like Kevin said. But I'd rather be addressing those things during a bye week.
Right.
Than I would be addressing those things while getting ready for a ball game. So
Vrabel is giving the guys the next 3 days off before they come back to practice next week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's what the difference is. I mean, what did we say? I think it was 8 of the last 12 Super Bowl participants had buys in the first round. So, I mean, yeah, you still have to worry about teams like the Chiefs, which you don't have to worry about the Chiefs or the Bills in round 2. You will not play them at all until the AFC Championship game.
Right.
But the Bengals have a second-year quarterback, and we know how the Titans have struggled against rookie quarterbacks or young quarterbacks in general.
Young quarterbacks, yeah, especially young quarterbacks that throw it all over the place. I mean, it was a little concerning, some of the plays that Davis Mills was able to make this past weekend for the Texans in the passing game. So, I mean, again, there are still things that have to be addressed, but you're addressing them as the number 1 seed, and that's not nothing.
It's not. And of all the teams left, I truly feel like, this is the toughest game that the Titans could have are the Bengals. But again, Derrick Henry makes all the difference in the world for this team.
On both sides of the ball.
Yeah.
Because he can shorten the game.
Not only does he shorten the game, but he also keeps your offense on the field longer, so long as he doesn't break off 90 in a run, which he is known to do.
He can do, yeah. Which is another problem.
But then you've got the NFC. And the NFC is where things get just crazy because it really feels like it's Green Bay and everybody else. I don't know who else. Obviously, Tom Brady is there, but they've not been very good over the last 3 weeks.
Well, here's the thing. January and February, the prospect of having to go into Green Bay and win a ball game is pretty daunting. I mean, that's a home field advantage that this time of year, it just feels like it's unlike any other.
Especially if you are the Rams or, a team that plays in a warm climate.
Either in a warm climate or indoors.
And you know what? I don't know. The only other team I'm not sure there's anybody else other than Philly that doesn't play in a warm or indoor environment.
Right.
Philadelphia is the only other one. I mean, Tampa Bay, Dallas, obviously the Rams are in LA. They tell you it gets cold there at night, and they think 60 is cold. Arizona, San Francisco gets cold, but that's because the wind chill is like 12.
Right.
But again, and they do play outdoors, so I guess maybe, but the NFC just doesn't feel like there's anybody over there who can match up with these. No, I did not.
No, not you.
That's funny. There's nobody over there that can match up with them at all. Is there anybody in the NFC who can make the Super Bowl other than Green Bay?
Other than Green Bay?
Dallas?
Dallas fans would have you believe that.
I've watched enough of the Cowboys to kind of believe it myself. I feel like Dak Prescott, if I would like to see him prove it, but I also would like to see it. I mean, I would love to see Dallas in the Super Bowl. I think the NFL is more entertaining when Dallas is good.
So you think the NFL is desirous of the Cowboys being in the Super Bowl, to quote the late Rush Limbaugh on another subject?
I just feel like if I were the NFL and I were picking a team to be in the Super Bowl, it would be Dallas. But if I were the NFL and I were picking a team to be in the Super Bowl, it certainly wouldn't be Tennessee.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, yeah. So I guess let's give them one thing they want, and it ain't our side. Titans and the Cowboys. Titans Cowboys. Let's do it.
That would be interesting because, the number of Cowboy fans that there are in this area that have been Cowboy fans since back before the Oilers/Titans got here. Interesting dynamic. That would be fun.
They are America's team, Mo.
Yeah. Just ask them.
Yeah, just ask them. They'll tell you. All right, let's talk. There was a lot of college basketball played last night, and we want to talk about at least a few of the games. So stick around. We'll do that. SEC basketball on the other side. Stick around right after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. And boy, what a Wednesday it has been. Mo, I don't know if you got a chance to see any of that Alabama-Auburn game last night, but the Iron Bowl of basketball, that will get you in a lot of trouble if you say it.
Oh, really?
Alabama. Yeah, the Iron Bowl is a football game.
So it's the game, not the matchup.
Correct.
That's interesting. That's unfortunate. Because I kind of like that.
Well, if you really think about it, it doesn't make sense for the football game to be called the Iron Bowl anymore either. But
since it's not being played in Birmingham?
Right. So, I guess I get it. But if there's no reason to call it the Iron Bowl in football, there's no reason not to call it the Iron Bowl in basketball. My personal opinion on that. But hey, who am I? What do I know? They didn't ask me. I'll call it what I want.
I'm a little surprised at that, actually, that they didn't ask you. They should ask you more.
I'm not sure who would ask me. Although it's funny, Greg Byrne, Coleman Coliseum has had its fair share of criticisms over the years. It's basically an airplane hangar. It looks like an old, Army National Guard base.
It really does when you think about it.
And I don't really understand what the deal is. I don't know why it's, why the university refuses to upgrade or just build a new arena, but they're just not gonna. And that's unfortunate because the atmosphere last night would have been phenomenal if it were a situation like Auburn Arena, the new Auburn Arena that seats about 8,500. But Twitter was pretty unforgiving to Byrne and the Tide because the students were all sitting in the corner. A lot of the old Tide Pride season ticket holder seats held Auburn fans, and those Tide Pride members who did show up, they rarely cheer. So it makes for a, kind of a boring atmosphere for college basketball.
Well, the same thing gets said about Rupp a lot in
I can
terms of
see that.
in terms of where the student section is relative to everybody else, and where the big money is, and the closer you are to the floor, and how disinterested in a lot of instances they seem to be. But at least they were in the gym, which is more than Vanderbilt fans can say. So
Well, there's that, and I also think that I feel like Kentucky's a little different from Alabama. If you are building a program, as Alabama is trying to do with Nate Oates, you need to have a great student atmosphere.
mm-hmm.
Auburn has done that.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Pearl has done that. And that's why Auburn is currently eyeing the number 1 ranking in the country. I mean, after last night, they were ranked number 4 in the country. Everybody in front of them lost. So Auburn, with a win over Ole Miss, could very well make a play to be the number 1 team in the country come Sunday. And, of course, on the backs of a 4-point win on the road at Alabama, that's not an easy thing to do, because Alabama's still a good basketball team despite their recent struggles. They're still a really good team.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody's going to lose sight of that. I just Auburn's really good, and I think that was the difference last night.
And it's going to continue to be the difference in Auburn basketball games at this point. They're really good. And I'm not sure who else in the SEC outside of maybe Kentucky. And that's 100% based on their ability to rebound the basketball better than anybody else. Who else can really challenge this team? This is as good of an Auburn basketball, as good of a Bruce Pearl team, Mo, as we've ever seen.
Now be careful.
That's what I'm telling you.
Because I'm sitting here looking right now as you talk about Auburn eyeing the number 1 spot, and hopefully Bruce Pearl can keep Auburn at number 1 longer than the last number 1 team that he coached, which was back in 2008 when they beat Memphis in Memphis on a Saturday night, went to number 1, came to Memorial Gym on a Tuesday night and got beat.
I remember.
Yeah, so.
But as far as Bruce Pearl teams go, this is as good of a team as we've ever seen. I mean, guys like Jabari Smith, 16 points a game, 6 rebounds. That's what you've got to have. Wendell Green is one of the most intense basketball players I've ever seen at the college level. He embodies what Bruce Pearl wants his teams to be. I mean, that guy flies all around the court. He's always in somebody's face defensively. And, a point guard that scores 13 points a game, that's what you got to have.
You'll take that.
Exactly. So, and last night, kudos to the Tigers for getting the win on the road. Tennessee took advantage of, I guess, a get-right opportunity against South Carolina. No reason they shouldn't have won the game. They were 15.5-point favorites. Good teams win, great teams cover. And Tennessee did just that. 14-point advantage in the second half. Really kind of pulled away. I think it was a 6-point game at halftime, and Tennessee just pulled away. They did what they were supposed to do. And obviously Vescovi looked really good. Is this a chance for Tennessee to get back on track?
I would be careful of projecting any trends based on any one game with this team. I think Tennessee plays 31 game seasons, basically. I mean, I just don't think you can expect them to string anything together just because they're so Jekyll and Hyde, man. I mean, we were talking yesterday about Fulkerson and how inconsistent he's been and how they need some consistency out of him. I didn't get to see the game last night, so I don't know what his contribution was, but
Well, he played 28 minutes. He had 10.7 boards. I mean, that's a good night for him. That's what you need out of him. If you can get 10 and 7 out of him every night, I feel like you'll take that.
I don't know. I feel like that's pretty pedestrian. I mean, we've seen, again, what do you have, 24 and 10 against Arizona?
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, if you get 10 and 7, he's a usable piece.
It just feels like he's capable of more.
I don't think he's capable of more on a consistent basis, though. I think if you get 10 and 7, you can throw him out there, and eventually you're going to get 25 and 10. And that may be against Kentucky, and it may be against, the Citadel. But I'll take 10 and 7 because I need those 7 boards more than I need those 10 points. Right?
You definitely need those 7 boards because this team isn't shooting the leather off the ball by any stretch.
12 offensive rebounds last night. So, I mean, 4 of them by Jordan Josiah James, by the way. I mean, again, this is a team that they go to Kentucky this weekend, then they go to Memorial next week on Tuesday. So Kentucky, Tennessee on Saturday. I think Tennessee's on a 2-game win streak against Kentucky. I think they beat them both times last year.
I think that's right.
So, I mean, Kentucky certainly, John Calipari specifically, doesn't want to lose this basketball game. And Tennessee could sure use it after lost to 19th ranked Alabama and 21st ranked LSU, both of those on the road. A road win in the SEC is tough to get, but can go a long way, especially with seeding committees later in the year.
Yeah. And again, they could use one, but I'm not sure what you see out of them that makes you feel like they can go to Rupp and get one, particularly against this team.
Yeah, I mean, it's who's gonna out rebound to Shibwe. I mean, scoring.
I think the T is silent for what it's. I think it's just Shibwe.
Sure.
Yeah.
Who's gonna out rebound him? Nobody.
Oscar. Yeah, clearly.
I mean, defensively, Tennessee is always tough. And that's what Kentucky struggles with is when with pressure defense, and Tennessee puts pressure, and they most certainly contest shots. So I'll be interested to see how it works out for them, but I certainly think Kentucky is by far the favorite in this game. So,
yeah, absolutely. It seems like Tennessee maybe has found something. We talked about playing Ziegler and Chandler at the same time, but playing those two and Santi, however we're pronouncing his last name, playing those 3 guys at the same time, it seems like they've kind of found something there. And it's just a matter of them being able to score at Rupp or anywhere else.
Yeah. And so, in Kentucky coming off a win last night, apparently Scottie Pippen Jr. had 32 points in the loss. Kentucky apparently beat Vanderbilt much worse than the score appears. Because 12 points to me certainly doesn't scream
rout or blowout or whatever else, but that's what it was being touted by major media outlets. What was 78-66 was the final, right?
Final, correct.
That, to me, that's not a blowout, which is what I texted to you last night. And then we saw somewhere else where it was referred to as a rout, and I'm like, 12 points.
Where did this come from? Like how? I mean, I look at it and I don't.
Well, I mean, if Kentucky beating Vandy by 12 is a rout and a blowout, then what is UT beating South Carolina by 22?
Apparently, Vanderbilt tied it at 22, and then Kentucky had 14 in a row. The Wildcats led by as much as 78-50 with 6:14 to go. The only thing that kept Vandy from allowing a season high in points was finishing the game on a 16-0 run.
The only thing. Okay. 16. I mean, I don't know who was on the floor from Kentucky down the stretch, obviously, but I mean, 16-0 run, that's not a bad thing.
Doesn't seem like it would be nothing.
Yeah, that's not nothing. It's really not. No.
So I don't know. Anyway, SEC basketball is just up for grabs, man. I think there's 5 or 6 teams that could be in the hunt at the end of the year for the regular season and tournament titles. So it's going to be fun. Let's give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world on Wild and Wacky Wednesday coming up after this. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Festop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Festop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Festop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader-building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
It's Wild and Wacky Wednesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today with the two zaniest guys this side of the Duck River. It's like you joined a circus or something. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint, and it is Wild and Wacky Wednesday. We'll give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. I no longer smell the skunk, Mo. So I'm not sure if I'm just immune to it at this point, which is probably exactly what it is. But anyway, what are your plans for tonight with no sports on TV? I mean, there will be sports on TV, but none of local interest.
We will probably watch The Amazing Race, actually.
That sounds good. The most recent episode of 1883, which is the prequel to Yellowstone, is out, so perhaps we'll watch that. I am currently in the process of trying to create a stay-at-home date night because obviously we can't go out because Charlie's bedtime is 7:00. So if we're going out, we're eating the senior citizen dinner at 5:00, and I am not hungry currently. So
there's not even a decent SEC game on. I mean, you got LSU, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi State, and Missouri, Arkansas.
Missouri, Arkansas, maybe. I mean, after what Missouri did
to Alabama.
Yeah, I mean, there literally is nothing.
Nope.
That
this may be one of the worst sports nights of the year.
It's kind of like that was the day after the All-Star game when there's nothing.
Nothing, yeah.
Just
I mean, there's something. It's just not appealing.
I mean, Villanova Xavier 5:30 on FS1. 14th ranked Villanova, 17th ranked Xavier. And then that's it. I mean, unless you are just really interested in, St. John's and UConn or Evansville and Bradley.
Villanova, Xavier, and St. John's, UConn. That's Big East, right?
That is, in fact, Big East, yeah.
Okay. I have to ask.
Chattanooga and Western Carolina. UT Martin does play tonight. They play Moorhead at 6:00. That's it. I mean, you want to watch the NHL? I guess you can. Speaking of the NHL, the Preds are just on fire.
How many straight have they won now? I think between the Preds, the Grizz, and the Titans, no one has lost since December 30th,
yeah. But they've not lost this year.
Yeah.
Which is truly incredible.
That's solid.
Truly incredible. And I will take that every single time. Anyway, let's get to the weirdest and wildest news from across the world, Mo. Do you want to start with Florida Man?
Florida Man is never a bad place to start.
Florida man was arrested in the parking lot of St. Lucie County Detention Facility. You heard me. He was in the parking lot of the St. Lucie County Detention Facility just minutes after he bonded out of jail. Casey Michael Lewis was charged with grand theft, left the facility, and started to wander through the parking lot, looking through the windows and checking door handles of the cars to see if they were open. That's at least go somewhere where there probably aren't cameras, Casey. What are you doing here? I'm so confused by this. There are dumb.
You explained it with the first two words you said.
Well, yeah. But there are dumb people, and then there's this. Like this,
And then there's Casey.
Yes, like he's on the other end of the entire. He's in a league of his own, so to speak. An officer approached him, and he claimed he was waiting for his girlfriend to pick him up. And after being questioned, he was arrested and handed the officer a brown paper bag which contained an iPhone 7, 4 packs of cigarettes, a lighter, 1 Visa bank debit card, and a Florida driver's license, and $547 in cash. That's.
I'd say the St. Lucie Sheriff's Department or whoever has a security issue.
Clearly. I've not, that's the thing is, what if they hadn't seen him? That's quite a haul.
Yeah.
I would have just left the debit card and left the $547 in cash and cigarettes and waited on my girlfriend somewhere else.
Yeah. But it's going to cost him more than that to get out again.
Yeah. Exactly. He could have at least kept that in the event that they were going to let him bond out again. Fellas, we've talked about our favorite side dishes on this show before. But I have to ask, how do you feel about mashed potatoes? Is that an elite side dish?
Mashed potatoes are not elite.
Okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't go so far as elite. Solid, but not elite.
No.
I like it because it's incredibly customizable.
That is true.
It is.
You can really do some things to mashed potatoes to spice it up a little.
But mashed potatoes in and of themselves are not elite.
Well, residents of a neighborhood in Jackson, Mississippi are confused because bowls of mashed potatoes are being left on their cars, porches, mailboxes. Jordan Lewis described the Belhaven neighborhood as a quirky one, with residents decorating road signs and putting Christmas trees in potholes and that sort of thing. So we don't know if someone's just playing a prank or if someone just had a lot of leftovers.
They had a run on Idaho potatoes, apparently.
There we go. Somebody caught a special on potatoes, and
Here's
figure out
about mashed potatoes is they don't keep.
Yeah, once you mash them, they lose their shelf life.
Well, especially if you pour milk in them. If you
There's that.
put milk in your mashed potatoes, then
And why would you not?
Yeah.
So my mom, when we had mashed potatoes left over, she would make potato pancakes the next morning.
Oh, now that's a strong move.
Oh,
Yeah, that's elite right there.
Yes.
Without question, that is elite.
That is elite.
Yes. I mean, that's why you only eat one helping at dinner so that you have leftovers.
Strategy. That is a pure definition of an elite side, is that you ration for the leftover version.
Leftovers.
Yes, yep. That's strong. That says a lot.
Yeah.
But that's so I'm trying to figure out what the deal is. Some people were thinking maybe the mashed potatoes were poisoned to kill animals, but I didn't taste it. I have a 3-second rule, so I didn't touch it. Some people were worried. It's unclear if anyone has eaten the potatoes. The news outlets report residents haven't alerted law enforcement. Michaela Lynn said some of potato finders have connections to a local private Christian university, which may be a clue.
Belhaven College? Maybe.
In where did I say, Jackson?
Jackson,
Mississippi.
Could be.
I do think I would have trust issues with mashed potatoes just showing, or anything else.
Yeah.
Just showing up.
It's got to be a prank in this particular neighborhood that apparently, if you're putting Christmas trees in potholes, like, it's just goofy.
That's a pretty work-intensive prank.
I could see this maybe in Austin, Texas, or maybe Portland, Oregon, but Jackson, Mississippi seems like an odd place for this.
Right. I will agree with that as well.
You don't think quirky when you think Jackson, do you?
No.
Yeah.
Well, when I think quirky, I think of a man waking up in his house and a stranger sleeping on his kitchen floor, which happened in Altoona, Pennsylvania. Police say a Pennsylvania man woke to find a stranger sleeping on his kitchen floor surrounded by torn up sanitary napkins. At least he was, clean about it. They arrested 60-year-old Brian Smith, and the Altoona Mirror reports that Smith was unconscious and surrounded by destroyed sanitary napkins. The homeowner told police it appeared someone had eaten some of his Crave cereal. And police said all the doors and windows were locked when he went to sleep, but he noticed one of the doors was wide open the next morning. So apparently this guy was he wasn't a redhead, but he did use amphetamines.
That's fortunate.
So I probably know a guy who could get us a little insight on this, because years and years ago when I covered the Nashville Sounds, the Pittsburgh Pirates AA affiliate was in Altoona, and so I'd talked to the sports editor up there pretty regularly about transactions and that kind of thing, and eventually he moved to Newside for the Altoona Mirror. So, yeah. Let's
see what's his name, because I'll click on this link to see.
Corey Geiger.
Corey Geiger.
Giger.
There's no byline on this story.
I can understand that.
Did I ever tell you my weird and like how I got semi-famous? I went viral once in like 2010 because a
lot of good you did with that.
Well, clearly it was 2010, so going viral didn't mean nearly as much as it does now.
It didn't take as much, did it?
So apparently a woman stole a tractor while wearing a bikini in my hometown.
Hey, some people think your tractor's sexy.
Clearly the tractor was sexy to someone.
Yep. Apparently.
But yeah, AP picked it up and it went on one of those weird news sites and all that stuff. Yeah, one of these sites that I go to every Wednesday.
On a show like this one.
It probably did end up on a show like this at some point. So yeah, that was my weird and wild story. It was so weird and interesting.
Did you get pictures of this?
I have her mugshot, which is really what made it, because her mugshot was, let's say, not great.
But there were no pictures of said subject on said tractor
in said bikini.
Oh, that's
her mugshot. She's wearing the bikini top.
Okay,
but let's just say she looked like maybe Sinead O'Connor about a month and a half after G.I. Jane shaving the head.
No hair.
Oh, she had just enough hair for it to be wild.
Okay.
Yeah. She couldn't fix it because it looked like she had buzzed it and it just went random places. Anyway, I can show it to you and I will send it to you because it's ridiculous. But anyway,
I look forward to that.
Yeah. I'll be waiting.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we will talk, hopefully with someone to talk about the McDonald's shootout that is upcoming this weekend, and we'll get a coach. We'll talk high school sports quite a bit tomorrow, so be looking out for that. And of course, we will continue talking about the Titans and everything that goes with this bye week and the NFL playoffs and much more. So please hang out with us tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. For Mo and JP, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day, folks, and stay cool, Columbia.